Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bible study. I hope you're doing well today. And today we're going to continue our study, a Bible study, of what we're calling Let's Talk About the World. And yesterday we talked about recognizing the world's deception and those sources where we might find deception, social media, the news, even posters in our own community. And how to kind of avoid those things and stay off of those things and don't give them any credence, and turn yourself toward God when you're looking for truth and not those resources. So I want to pick up where we left off yesterday with these reflection questions. I'm asking, how would you define the pattern of our current culture? Materialism, instant gratification, hostility, and validation seeking. What media voices or social environments do you spend the most time engaging with daily? Do you spend a lot of time on Facebook? Do you spend a lot of time watching negative news? Do you spend a lot of time on TikTok? Do you spend time with negative friends? And we'll talk about that. And do an honest check. Have you ever found yourself adopting a secular value or habit because everyone else is doing it? And I think that's the most important thing. Don't go along with because everybody else is doing it. If everybody else is out there protesting the government, don't go along with it. Okay. If everybody else is out there and demonstratizing a certain people and being filled with hate, don't go along with it. Okay. Think about those things and rely on strictly on God's wisdom. So I thought what we would do today is we're going to talk about the danger of bad company. And one of the dangers of bad company is what Paul was saying here in 1 Corinthians 15:33. I'll read the verse here and you can follow along with me here or follow along with me in your Bible. It says, don't be fooled by those who say such things, for bad company corrupts good character. And he's got that in a quote, in quotation marks. So I did a little research about why that's in quotation mark. And, he is actually quoting an old Greek a comedic playwright named Menander, and that's where he's getting this. It's a famous proverb that Paul knew, and what Paul is talking about here. He's talking about, he's warning that your character and faith are deeply shaped by who you surround yourself with. And it essentially means that hanging out with people who do not respect God's truth will eventually undermine and destroy your own moral standing. In the original context, the Apostle Paul is talking about the early church, about the reality of the resurrection. He warns them not to be tricked or influenced by false teachers who were claiming that there is no life after death. And we know that that's not true. And he's the key takeaway. I think what we can take away here is that influence is contagious. Paul's cautioning that you cannot constantly expose yourself to toxic or ungodly behavior without it slowly rubbing off on you. The slow drift away from your values usually starts with a small compromise, and that compromise is often given to you through your friends. Protect your mind. Here, Paul urges the believers to wake up from the sinful behaviors that false teachers were encouraging. Guarding who and what you allow to influence you is essential for spiritual health. So wake up. And the other verse that I want to talk about here is Proverbs 13:20. Here, the author says, walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. That's pretty self explanatory. Walk with the wise and become wiser. In the Bible, walking is a metaphor for doing life with someone, associating with people who make good character choices, good choices all around. They respect the truth and seek godly wisdom. It'll rub off on you. You learn from their experiences and adopt their positive habits. A companion of fools suffers harm. A biblical fool is not just someone who is lacking intelligence, it is a person who ignores instruction, rejects moral guidance, and lives only for themselves. Think about that. Aligning yourself with the mindset invites unnecessary drama, bad decision making, and ultimately destruction. So let's review a little bit about what we've talked about here today. So I've kind of made up this note sheet here, and you can write these down or come back to them later and think about these. Accountability, spending time with people who challenge you to be better will help you grow. Environment, you might think you can resist negative peer pressure, but constant exposure to a negative environment will eventually impact your thoughts, your habits, and your lifestyle. Evaluate your inner circle. You know, the proverb that we read is an invitation to be intentional about your close relationships. While you can love and be kind to everyone, you shouldn't allow unwise people to become your closest confidants. You become your company. As the saying goes, show me your friends, and I will show you your character. To grow personally, spiritually, or even professionally, surround yourself with people who challenge, inspire, and who evaluate you. And I think that's a big thing. So think about who your friends are, and maybe evaluate your inner circle and keep your inner circle maybe small and filled with people who are going to be a positive influence on you. So, today's reflection questions, I want you to think about this. Think about the people closest to you. Do they encourage your spiritual growth or draw you toward worldly behaviors and negative mindsets? How can you establish healthy boundaries with individuals whose influence compromises your characters? They can still be your friends, but establish a boundary. And who is a wise person in your life that you can intentionally spend more time with to help you grow? I know I always want to surround myself with people who are going to help me grow. My best friend, he is an inspiration to me, and we talk about a lot of things, and he really encourages my growth, and I really appreciate that. So everyone have a great day, and we'll talk tomorrow.